From ancient empires to pivotal moments in modern history, our channel offers a unique blend of engaging storytelling and in-depth analysis. Hit the subscribe button now and become part of our growing community of history enthusiasts. Let's uncover the mysteries of the past together. In the 10th century, a philosopher appeared who left his mark on most of the sciences. Ibn Sina, commonly known in the West as Avicenna, was a preeminent philosopher and physician of the Muslim world. He flourished during the Islamic Golden Age, serving in the courts of various Iranian rulers. He is often described as the father of early modern medicine. His philosophy belonged to the peripatetic school derived from Aristotelianism. Avicenna's most renowned works include the Book of Healing, a vast philosophical and scientific encyclopedia; the Canon of Medicine, a medical encyclopedia that became a standard text in many medieval European universities, remaining in use until as late as 1650. Besides philosophy and medicine, Avicenna contributed to various fields, including astronomy, alchemy, geography, geology, psychology, Islamic theology, logic, mathematics, physics, and poetry. Avicenna wrote most of his philosophical and scientific works in Arabic, but also composed key texts in Persian. His poetic works were written in both languages. Out of the 450 works attributed to him, around 240 have survived, including 150 on philosophy and 40 on medicine. The name Avicenna is a Latinized version of the Arabic Ibn Sina, meaning son of Sina. However, he was not the son, but the great-great-grandson of a man named Sina. His full Arabic name was Abu al-Husayn bin Abdul ibn al-Asan bin al-bin Sina al-Baqi al-Bukhari. Avicenna lived during the Islamic Golden Age, a period marked by the translation and extensive study of Byzantine, Greco-Roman, Persian, and Indian texts. Philosophical traditions such as Middle Platonism, Neoplatonism, and Aristotelianism were commented on, refined, and developed by Islamic scholars. Meanwhile, advancements in mathematics, astronomy, algebra, trigonometry, and medicine were integrated into scientific knowledge. The Samanid Empire, ruling eastern Persia, Greater Khorasan, and Central Asia, and the Ubaid dynasty, ruling western Persia and Iraq, fostered an environment of scholarly and cultural development. Under the Samanids, Bokhara became a major center of learning, rivaling Baghdad. Avicenna had access to great libraries in Balkh, Khwarazm, Gorgan, Ray, Isfahan, and Hamadan. Avicenna actively debated philosophical points with some of the greatest scholars of his time. Texts like the AHD with Balmanyar show that he engaged in discussions with prominent intellectuals. Avicenna was born in 980 in the village of Afshana, located in Transoxiana, to a Persian family. The village was near the Samanid capital of Bokhara, which was his mother's hometown. His father, Abdullah, was a native of Balkh and served as an official in the Samanid bureaucracy. Abdullah held the position of governor in the royal estate of Harmadan, near Bokhara, during the reign of 976 to 997. Avicenna also had a younger brother. A few years later, the family settled in Bokhara, a renowned center of learning that attracted many scholars. Avicenna received his early education in Bokhara, primarily under the guidance of his father. Although both Avicenna's father and brother had converted to Ismailism, he himself did not follow this faith. Instead, he adhered to the Hanafi Sunni school, the same sect followed by the Samanid dynasty. Recognizing his son's intellectual potential, Avicenna's father invited the physician and philosopher El-Nadalai to their home to educate him. Together, they studied the isagogy of Porphyry and possibly the categories of Aristotle. Avicenna then read the Almagest of Ptolemy, which covered astronomy and mathematics, and Euclid's Elements, which focused on geometry. After mastering these works, El-Nadalai encouraged him to continue his studies independently. By the age of 18, Avicenna was well versed in Greek sciences. Although his autobiography only mentions el-Nadalai as his teacher, he likely studied under other scholars as well, including the physicians Qumri and Abu Sal, Isa Hidian Yahya el-Masihi. At the age of 17, Avicenna was appointed as the physician of Na II. By the time he was at least 21, his father passed away. He was then given an administrative position, possibly succeeding his father as the governor of Harmaden. Later, Avicenna moved to Gurganj, the capital of Khwarezm, stating that he did so out of necessity. The exact date of his move is uncertain, but he reported serving Abu el-Hasan Ali, the Mamunid ruler of Khwarezm, who reigned between 997 and 1009. This suggests that Avicenna moved sometime during that period. He may have moved in 999, the year when the Samanid Empire collapsed after the Karakhani Khanate captured Bokhara and imprisoned the Samanid emir Abdulmalik II. Due to his high status and close ties to the Samanids, Avicenna might have found himself in a difficult position after their fall. It was through Abul Husn el-Sahai, the minister of Gurganj and a patron of Greek sciences, that Avicenna entered the service of Abu el-Hasan Ali. Under the Mamunids, Gurganj became a center of learning, attracting many notable scholars, including Avicenna, his former teacher Abosal el-Masahai, the mathematician Abonis Mansur, the physician Ibn al-Hamir, and the philologist el-Thalabi. In 1012, Avicenna was once again forced to move due to necessity. This time, he traveled westward, passing through the Khurasani cities of Nasa, Abavard, Tus, Samangan, and Jajarm. He intended to meet Qabis ibn Wushangar, the ruler of Gorgan, who was known as a patron of literature and science. However, by the time Avicenna arrived, he discovered that Qabis had died in the winter of 1013. Avicenna then left Gorgan for Dihestan, but later returned after falling ill. There, he met Abobaid el-Jizjani, who would later become his student and lifelong companion. Avicenna briefly stayed in Gorgan, where he reportedly served Manichaer, the son and successor of Qabis, while residing in the house of a local patron. Shortly afterward, Avicenna shifted his allegiance to the rising Buyid emir, Shams-ad-Dawla, the younger brother of Mad-ad-Dawla. Historian Peter Adamson suggests that this may have been because Abu el-Qasim also worked under Sa'id al-Shirin. Avicenna was summoned by Shams-ad-Dawla to treat him. However, after Shams-ad-Dawla launched a military campaign against his former ally, the Anazid ruler Abishak, he forced Avicenna to become his vizier. Although Avicenna frequently clashed with Shams-ad-Dawla's troops, he remained vizier until the ruler's death from colic in 1021. After Shams-ad-Dawla's death, his son, Sama-ad-Dawla, asked Avicenna to remain as vizier, but he refused. Instead, he went into hiding with his patron, Abu-Ghalib al-Ladr, waiting for a better opportunity. During this time, Avicenna maintained secret correspondence with Ala el-Dawla Muhammad, the Kakuyid ruler of Isfahan and the uncle of Sayyid al-Shirin. While staying in Adder's residence, Avicenna completed the Book of Healing, writing 50 pages per day. However, suspicions arose at the Buyid court in Hamadan, particularly from the Kurdish vizier Tajulmuk, who suspected Avicenna of plotting with Ali Dawla. As a result, the Buyids raided Adder's home, leading to Avicenna's arrest and imprisonment in the fortress of Fardajan outside Hamadan. His student Jizjani blamed one of Avicenna's informants for his capture. Avicenna remained in prison for 4 months until Ala al-Dawla seized Hamadan, deposing Sama el-Dawla and securing his release. After his release, Avicenna traveled to Isfahan, where he was warmly received by Ala el-Dawla. According to Jizjani, the Kakuyid ruler treated Avicenna with the respect and esteem that someone of his stature deserved. Historian Peter Adamson describes Avicenna's time under Ala el-Dawla as the most stable period of his life. Avicenna served as an advisor, if not the vizier, of Ala el-Dawla, frequently accompanying him on military expeditions and travels. During this period, Avicenna dedicated 2 Persian works to his patron. a philosophical treatise titled The Book of Science for Allah, a medical treatment focused on the study of the pulse. In January 1030, when the Ghaznavids briefly occupied Isfahan, Avicenna and Ala el-Dawla moved to Khuzestan. They remained there until March 1030, following the death of the Ghaznavid ruler Mahmud. It was likely upon Avicenna's return to Isfahan that he began writing his influential work, Pointers and Reminders. In 1037, while accompanying Ala el-Dawla on a military campaign near Isfahan, Avicenna suffered from a severe case of colic, a condition he had endured throughout his life. Shortly afterward, he passed away in Hamadan, where he was laid to rest. Avicenna wrote extensively on early Islamic philosophy, particularly focusing on logic, ethics, and metaphysics. His notable treatises include Logic and Metaphysics. Most of his works were written in Arabic, which was the scientific language of the Muslim world at the time. However, he also composed several works in early New Persian, including the Danishnama, which remains linguistically significant to this day. Avicenna's commentaries on Aristotle often contain criticism of the philosopher, fostering lively intellectual debate in the spirit of ijtihad. His Neoplatonic theory of emanations later became a foundational concept in Islamic Kalam theology during the 12th century. His famous work, The Book of Healing, was partially translated into Latin about 50 years after its composition, under the title Sufficientia. Some scholars have identified a Latin Avicennism that flourished for a time, alongside the more influential Latin Averroism. However, Vicennism was suppressed by the Parisian decrees of 1210 and 1215. Avicenna's psychology and theory of knowledge influenced notable Western scholars, including William of Auvergne and Albertus Magnus, while his metaphysical ideas shaped the thought of Thomas Aquinas. Early Islamic philosophy and Islamic metaphysics, deeply influenced by Kalam, distinguish more clearly between essence and existence than Aristotelianism. In this framework, existence belongs to the contingent and accidental realm. Essence endures beyond the accident, remaining inherent within a being. Avicenna's philosophy, particularly his metaphysical thought, owes much to Al-Farabi. His work reflects a search for a definitive Islamic philosophy, distinct from occasionalism, a theological doctrine that attributes all events directly to God's will. This philosophical quest can still be seen in the surviving portions of his writings. Following Al-Farabi's lead, Avicenna initiated a comprehensive inquiry into the question of being. He made a distinct distinction between essence, mahiyya, what a thing is, existence, wujud, that a thing is. Avicenna argued that existence cannot be inferred from or explained by the essence of existing things. Form and matter, by themselves, cannot interact or initiate the movement of the universe. The actualization of existing things must come from an external cause. Therefore, existence must be imparted by an agent cause, a force that necessitates, gives, or adds existence to an essence. This cause must itself exist and coexist with its effect. Avicenna's consideration of the essence attributes question is best understood through his ontological analysis of the modalities of being. 1. Impossibility, that which cannot exist. 2. Contingency, that which can exist or not exist without contradiction. 3. Necessity, that which must exist. 4. A contingent being has the potential to exist, but requires an external cause for actualization. When actualized, the contingent becomes necessary due to something other than itself. 5. Contingency in itself is merely potential being that requires an external agent to become real. 6. A necessary being due to itself is true in itself, while a contingent being is false in itself, but becomes true through another cause. 7. The necessary being does not borrow existence. It is the source of its own being. It always exists and cannot exist. Allah is a necessary being due to itself. human is contingency in itself. Join our journey through history. Support our continuity by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. Join the community of Morasel channel on YouTube and explore the fascinating stories of history. Islamic civilization. Uncover its philosophy, eternal values, and remarkable legacy. Modern European civilization. Witness the inventions and discoveries that transformed the world. Ancient civilizations. Journey through ancient Egypt, the dawn of civilization with its majestic temples. Babylonian legends. Delve into eternal myths that shaped human history. Ancient Greece. Explore the birthplace of philosophy, democracy, and epic mythology, from Socrates and Plato to the glory of Athens and Sparta. Discover how we got here. Be part of our journey.